Our story wasn't a fairy tale, but for a while it felt like one. I'm Jason, and Naomi was the center of my world. We met in college, two ambitious kids with big dreams. I was drawn to her fire, her laugh that could light up a room. We built a life together from scratch, celebrating every small victory. From my first promotion to her opening her own art gallery, life was good, or so I thought. We were the couple everyone looked up to, the ones who had it all figured out. But behind the perfect Instagram photos and the happy smiles at social gatherings, a different story was unfolding, one I was completely blind to. The first crack appeared subtly. It started with late nights she claimed were for work, hushed phone calls she'd taken in another room, and a new emotional distance between us. When I asked, she'd just brush it off. "You're being paranoid, Jason," she'd say, her voice calm and reassuring. "The gallery is just demanding right now." I wanted to believe her, I really did. I loved her, and love makes you want to trust, even when your gut is screaming that something is wrong. I pushed my doubts aside, telling myself I needed to be a more supportive husband. Then came the annual city charity gala. It was the biggest social event of the year, a night where everyone who was anyone showed up. Naomi was on the organizing committee, so her presence was essential. Looked stunning in a silver dress, and I felt like the luckiest man alive walking in with her on my arm. The night was a blur of champagne, fake smiles, and small talk. I mingled, catching up with old colleagues, always keeping an eye on Naomi, proud of how she commanded the room. The betrayal wasn't a quiet whisper. It was a public spectacle. The host of the evening, a slick real estate mogul named Marcus, took the stage to give a speech. I'd seen him around Naomi a lot lately, but she'd always said he was just a key sponsor for the gallery. He started his speech, thanking everyone, and then his eyes found Naomi in the crowd. He smiled, a smug, knowing smile. And a special thanks, he boomed into the microphone, to Naomi, for her tireless work on this event, and for showing me that life can still be full of wonderful surprises. The room applauded politely, but I froze. It was the way he looked at her, the way she blushed and looked down, avoiding my eyes. It wasn't just a thank you, it was a declaration. My friend Kevin, who was standing next to me, leaned over. "Dude, what was that about?" he whispered. I didn't have an answer. My heart was pounding in my chest. Suddenly I felt like I couldn't breathe. The air in the glamorous ballroom felt thick and suffocating. One had to get out of there. I found her near the terrace, talking animatedly with a group of people. I walked up and quietly said, "Naomi, we need to go." The smile vanished from her face. She saw the look in my eyes and knew I knew. The car ride home was silent. Silence was heavier than any argument we'd ever had. I kept replaying the scene in my head, Marcus's smirk, Naomi's blush, the knowing glances from others in the room. It all clicked into place. The late nights, the secret phone calls, the emotional chasm that had opened between us. When we got home, the dam broke. I didn't yell. I didn't scream. I just looked at her, my voice barely a whisper. "How long, Naomi?" She couldn't meet my eyes. She finally confessed everything. It had been going on for 6 months, with Marcus. She said she felt neglected, that I was always focused on my career. She tried to justify it, to make it seem like it was my fault. But her words were hollow. Nothing could justify this level of public humiliation. She hadn't just cheated. She had allowed another man to disrespect our marriage in front of our entire social circle. That night I didn't sleep in our bed. I didn't sleep at all. I sat in the living room, surrounded by the life we had built, and it all felt like a lie. Every photo on the wall, every piece of furniture we'd picked out together, felt tainted. Pain was immense, a physical ache in my chest. But underneath the pain, a cold, hard resolve began to form. She had made her choice, and she had made it publicly. Now I had to make mine privately. The next morning, I was a different man. The love-struck fool was gone, replaced by someone focused and determined. While Naomi expected a dramatic fallout, screaming matches, and a messy public divorce, I gave her none of it. I contacted a lawyer, the best one I could find. My instructions were simple. I wanted this to be quiet, fast, and clean. No drama, no fighting over assets. I just wanted out. Naomi was shocked by my silence. She tried to talk, to apologize, to bargain. "Jason, please, let's talk about this. We can fix it," she pleaded. But I was done talking. She had said everything she needed to say on that stage. without uttering a single word. I communicated only through my lawyer. I packed my bags and moved into a small, furnished apartment. It was a sterile, impersonal space, but it was a sanctuary. It was a place where I could start to heal, away from the ghost of our life together. The divorce was finalized in record time. I was generous in the settlement, more than she probably deserved. I didn't do it for her. I did it for me. I didn't want any lingering ties, no reason for us to ever have to interact again. I wanted a clean break. She had chosen a public stage for her betrayal. I chose the quiet dignity of a private ending. I didn't tell my side of the story to our mutual friends. I didn't post anything on social media. I just disappeared from the life we once shared. Some people probably thought I was weak for not fighting back, for not exposing her. But I knew the truth. True strength isn't about public revenge. It's about private recovery. It's about protecting your own peace. By refusing to engage in her drama, I took back my power. I let her and Marcus have the spotlight they so clearly craved. In the end, their affair fizzled out, just as I knew it would. Their relationship was built on a weak foundation of deceit, and it couldn't last. Leaving that life behind was the hardest and best thing I ever did. I focused on myself, reconnected with my true passions, and built a new life, one based on honesty and self-respect. It wasn't easy, but every day was a step forward. The public humiliation was her story to own, not mine. My story was about how I walked away quietly, not in defeat, but in victory over a situation that was meant to break me. I chose peace over war, and in that choice, I found my freedom. Thanks for listening, and remember to subscribe for more stories.